So this Casona was built in 1910, and the original owner was this guy named Dr. Canto. So we're in the city of Mérida, but we're in the part of Mérida called Chumenopolis. And I guess this Dr. Canto, the original owner, the original guy who lived here, he was this beloved doctor in Chumenopolis. Everyone knew him, everyone liked him. So he lived here, I think with his wife and his kid, who I think was his son. So they lived here for a while, and then they eventually sold the house to the president of this soda company, and the company was called Cedro Pino, like cedar pine. And we heard that Cedro Pino was just as famous and as big of a company as Coke or Pepsi would be today. But I guess as Coke became more of a thing, Cedro Pino, the company, got kind of pushed out because it wasn't as popular. walk in, look at this cool door.
I love this door.
It's pretty
great.
cool.
I really love it, yes.
Come on in.
Go.
You're gonna hit by the door on the way in.
No, never get you on the way out.
So we like this kitchen. Like, this kitchen is kind of crazy, but I feel like it all kind of goes together with like the crazy tile and the stone and the, you know, tile on the floor and the counter, but we really like it a lot.
I have two favorite rooms in this house. The kitchen is one of them because even though it's small by American standards, I just think it has really, really good energy in here. And the green bathroom, which you haven't seen yet, is my other favorite part of the room. So let's just give you the whole, let's scope out the whole room first. So what you see, once again, the 20-foot ceilings in this room also.
The ceilings being that high, they really do make the house less hot because we're in Mexico. Right now it's around 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and like, yes, it's hot, but it's not as hot as I would imagine it being. Because we also have 26-foot walls, so that really helps.
26 inch.
26 inch, not 26 foot. That really helps to make it less hot too. 26
It
foot
made
would be
it a
like,
little bit difficult when we were trying to hook up our internet. That took a little bit of work, but 26-foot walls, like living in an igloo.
And here we replaced the countertop. It was tile, but now we have a marble countertop, and we added this piece right here, which gives a little more counter space. And underneath there is where we have our reverse osmosis water filter system.
Yeah, just want to talk about why we need letters?
so most people here in the Yucatan, they drink out of those big, you know those like Crystal Rock big bottles, those plastic bottles?
What do they call them here?
They call, there's like a few different brands, and we're not into plastic. We were drinking out of those for a bit because we didn't really have another choice, and we were actually feeling some like kind of creepy side effects. So my dad actually installed this reverse osmosis system. It helps to remove all the minerals from the water because there's a lot of minerals in the water here, and also it helps to purify it too. So it's pretty great. This comes out of this cool thing.
We should also mention a couple things in this kitchen that were kind of hard to adjust to in the beginning. Is you're going to notice that there aren't any cupboards or cabinets with doors. Here's want to explain what that is.
So they say that if you have doors on cupboards or cabinets or closets, that like, because there's a lot of humidity here, your pots and pans and clothes will get moldy. So we're taking their word for it. We don't know for sure, but that's what they say.
At first I didn't like it, but now I'm kind of gotten used to it. I find that you don't, I think when you have cupboards and cabinets at home, stuff just gets kind of lost in there, but now it doesn't at all here.
And you can see what the counter looked like before, this like orangey tile, which wasn't bad, but this is definitely nicer.
Absolutely. The only thing, like you might think we're living in a great mansion, which we are, but you're probably going to notice that in this kitchen, let me go back and pan all the way here, one important thing in our book is missing. What is that thing, you guys?
A dishwasher.
Yeah. So what's the reason? I don't know. There's all this. What's the deal with the water pressure, Jim?
There's no water pressure. It's all on tanks on the roof, and all you have is gravity fed.
Right.
In the United States, you have water pressure. You could have anywhere from 35 to 90 pounds of pressure, and without the pressure, the dishwashers don't work well.
Right. Also, with the kitchen this small, we're not even sure where we would put one. So we're dealing with it. That's something we're not too thrilled about, but you know, we're not going to act like we are. Welcome to the next room on the tour. So this room, when we bought the house, it was considered a fourth bedroom. But we've since learned what this room actually was. The purpose was, it was the maid's quarters.
It was called a cuarto de servicio, like the service room.
Right, so we've learned that this would have been her bedroom. And then behind that door back there, which we'll show you, that would have been her bathroom. So a maid would have come along with this house, and a maid back then, it was someone who worked from Monday to Saturday. She would only have Sundays off when she would go home and see her family, and she was responsible for the cooking and the cleaning. Someone else came in and did the laundry, and a whole other person came in and did the ironing. Then it also would have been a gardener, and the gardener doubled as the chauffeur. So this was a house that came with a chauffeur.
So we don't have a maid, so we don't need a special room for the maid.
Unfortunately, we don't even have a cleaning lady.
But we call this room the herb room because we have all our herbs and like holistic stuff in here, which is kind of a sad story about that because when we were moving to Mexico, they told us that we couldn't bring any herbs, essential oils, flower essences, tinctures, any of that stuff. We were like, we were very upset. We were like, okay. And then a few weeks later, the moving company told us that if we put all the holistic stuff, the herbs, essential oils, tinctures, oils, flower essences, on a special list and pay a special tax, then we could bring it. And we were like, wow, that's really amazing news. That's so cool. So we stocked up on extra, everything and vitamins and everything. And then 9 o'clock the night before we were going to load the container, it was 9 o'clock at night, we were gonna start loading it about 7 o'clock the next morning. The company called us again. They were like, oh, just kidding, we were wrong. You can't bring any herbs, any vitamins, any flower essences, any essential oils, any salves, tinctures, all that. So we were like, so 9 o'clock that night, everything was all packed up. We had to find the boxes in our mess of a garage of like a million boxes, unpack that stuff, take it off the list, and we lost like thousands of dollars of stuff. And it was pretty sad because that's like what we do as a job, and also that's like our life as holistic stuff. But we did smuggle in some stuff. Like here on this shelf, we brought these herbs from Connecticut. Unfortunately, not at all what we had in Connecticut, but at least we have some, and some vitamins. And the thing that was most important to me were flower essences. So flower essences are very different from essential oils. They are drops that you take internally for emotional things like stress, grief, indecision, body image, childhood issues, anxiety. And that was like, I was like, I have to figure out how to get my flower essences in. So we brought all like 500 of them in the suitcase. So luckily they made it in. But we like this room. We like the cool pasta floor. And something we've heard is that like in every single home in the Yucatan, there's no exact duplicate of a pasta floor. They're all unique, all a different pattern, all different style. So that's pretty interesting. This room's nice. It's pretty quiet, and I like being
We should
here.
probably mention what a pasta floor is. I think some people don't realize what is a pasta floor.
So I'm not a tile expert, but I think with like regular tile, it's kind of like the design is just on the surface. But with the pasta floor, it's like if the tile is maybe, I don't know, like an inch thick, for example, the design goes like all the way through.
And then they're made of cement, and they last forever. So this one that Eris is standing on, this is one of the oldest ones in the house. This obviously is 110, at least 110 years old. So the color goes right through on the tile.
And so when they polish them, which is kind of like taking off a thin layer of the floor, the design is still there because the design goes all the way through.
Yeah, we should mention that Jim found someone to polish all the floors in the house, and they really came out very, very nice. They're beautiful. So, the maid's quarters.
So this is the bathroom of the cuarto de servicios. This would have been like the maid's bathroom, quote unquote. I feel so like snobby saying that, but it has the cool pasta floor, not like any other one that we have in the house. And then we really like, well, there's a cool skylight in here too, so that's nice. Even when it's kind of cloudy, it's kind of bright in here. And then in here, there's a pretty cool shower. I like that tile. So that's about it. So you might think it's really cool that we live in a mansion, which it is, but one thing that's a big change from Woodbury is in our Woodbury, Connecticut house, we had 17 closets. I had like 4 of my own because I have a lot of clothes and shoes, but here, this is our one like closet. So this is half my clothes, half my mom's clothes. And obviously our winter clothes are not out because it's always summer here. Okay, ready to see outside? Here we go. So I gotta walk backwards down the stairs. Hold on. And you can see we just finished painting this part of the house and this part of the house. So here we go. It's pretty hot today. I think it's about 100 degrees, maybe 99. And first stop, one you might have been waiting for, is our dungeon. We have a visitor in the dungeon.
Yeah, a dungeon. So when we first were looking at the listing for the house, we saw it really did say that it had a dungeon. So we were like, oh, they didn't mean a dungeon. They meant like a basement. So when we came and looked at the house, we came inside the dungeon, and you'll see in here that there are all kinds of wine bottles. So we thought, okay, they didn't really mean dungeon. They meant that it was a wine cellar. So we were kind of okay with that whole thing.
But then, this is the first time I've actually...
That's a terrible angle of me!
This is the first time I've actually like sat in the dungeon. But our neighbor Wawa, who's lived around here like his whole life, he told us that this used to be a place where like there was a family who lives here, and I guess the dad was a little bit like controlling or maybe a little bit crazy. And he said that when his kids, the guy's kids, were bad, they would like lock them in here overnight until they had a chance to like think about their bad behavior.
But it wasn't just his kids, it was the neighborhood kids. If you were bad, you came and spent time in the dungeon. That's story number one. Story number two is our friend Francisco, who owns Bar La Vento restaurant. He was here for dinner one night and he saw that we have a dungeon. So his version of the story is that a lot of people in the Yucatan, they keep pet jaguars. Jaguars are cancer. What is it?
He said jaguars.
Jaguars, right. And that this is the place where the pet jaguar of the family would have been. So we have no idea now whether it was a wine cellar, whether it was for misbehaved children, or it was for pet jaguars. We have no idea, but that's the dungeon story.
So now we're going to show you our patio. And the cool thing about this house is that the house, as you probably have seen, is really giant, but also the outside's pretty big, especially for living in a city. So here's the patio. Let me try and get out of the way there. There's Viola. And that tree right there, that's a nice mango tree, which is pretty big. I'm not sure how old it is, but it does have really, really good mangoes. There's a ton of mangoes on there right now because it is getting to mango season now. There's a well. We just finished painting that part of the house too. That's one of the sculptures we brought from Connecticut. And then that tree right there, that big one, that's an avocado tree, and it's not avocado time yet. I'm not sure when, but it was flowering, so I think pretty soon. And we have some lizards that live in our property, like kind of big. I don't know if they're iguanas or lizards, but they love to live in that tree. They're always like kind of like hanging out over there. They don't do anything bad. They're just kind of like startling because they're so big and they're so silent. Now that's a medicinal tree called Ishkanan, which our neighbor Wawa, the guy we were talking about before, he said that his sister had cancer and she cured it just by eating the berries of the Ishkanan tree. So pretty interesting. And it flowers and berries almost all year round. And now we'll show you our 3 outdoor bathrooms. The first one is labeled Damas for ladies.
There's a lady waiting right here at the door.
Just hanging out in there.
So we have learned that this actually would have been a big party house. So what a lot of Mexicans do is they have a big party rather than people having to go into your house to use the bathroom.
You just go outside.
In the bathroom. So this is, they call this the ladies' bathroom. So it has not just one toilet, but over here behind the Eiffel Tower, there is another toilet. So we love the tile in here. Pretty cool.
Now, second one, there's Gloria there from Connecticut, our cat, is the gentleman's bathroom, the caballeros.
Here's what they call the family bathroom. Why that's different from the ladies' bathroom, I have no idea. Come on in. Eris uses this bathroom the most, not to go to the bathroom, but behind, because of what's behind the diamond door there.
What do you think it is? It's a shower, which is great for giving Viola, our giant Great Dane, a bath. So, pretty nice there.
Next up on our tour is the bar. Pretty ironic that people who don't even drink have a bar, but we decided we'd call it our herb bar. So all of our leftover herbs that we couldn't fit in the house are now in the bar. So come on over to the bar.
Done, so it's a cool stone top now.
We were told that, I don't know if it's true or not, we were told that the bar, the thing behind and also this bar right here, we were told that this thing is from Cuba. No idea if that's true or not. There's a big Cuban population in Mexico.
So now we're going to show you our pool. Now we're going to continue the plant tour. This big tree is called a huaya tree. It's H-U-A-Y-A. And we haven't seen them yet because I think they fruit in like July or August. But they're this like kind of orangey fruit. And then if you like peel them open, the actual fruit's inside. We haven't had one yet, but it is flowering. So we'll keep you posted on that. We'll do a little spin around the wall. Then I'm going to show you my favorite plant that we have. This is called a heliconia. Well, that's what the guy at the nursery said, but it's actually called a ginger beehive, which we think is very cool. And then what else? We have lavender in this pot. Lavender grows so well in the Yucatan. It always did like okay in Connecticut, but it's so happy here. It's already flowered once. We have some banana trees. These are hibiscus that we're going to put in the ground eventually. There's a yellow and a red one. This is a papaya tree. We have jasmine, we have mandarin, we have an orange and a lemon and more rosemary. This is a guanabana, aka a soursop. So you can grow a lot in the Yucatan. It's pretty cool. Okay, now you've seen the whole house.
Hopefully you enjoyed the tour.
Stay grounded!